When it comes to the box office, few years were more disappointing than 2022, but lucky for us, it seems like 2023 has a lot more in store. Hey y'all, Snarky J Cosplay here with my list of films to look forward to in 2023. Now, I'm not gonna say that these are all movies I'm specifically looking forward to, and I will give y'all some of my thoughts in regards to the ones that I'm not quite as excited about, but these are films that you're definitely gonna wanna add to your movie-going schedule, and maybe start looking into getting tickets for ASAP. With that being said, let's get started. Kicking off 2023 on a horrific note, we've got Megan, which releases January 6, 2023. Megan is all about an AI doll that is meant to be a girl's best friend. Of course, as with most AI-themed movies, this does not go as planned, and Megan turns out to be something of a problem. This film, as of the time of this video's recording, comes out this Friday. And I have to say, I'm a little curious about this one. I don't know, it looks so odd from the trailer. I think I've seen that same sequence of this doll doing this weird dance cut into like 18 different videos already, but I gotta say, I'm a little bit curious about it, and I can't say that I won't be sitting in theaters to check it out. A few days after Valentine's Day, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, releasing February 17th, 2023. This is the third Ant-Man film, and it sees Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, including Scott Lang's daughter Cassie, as they go into the quantum realm and go beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. The big bad in this movie, which is maybe the most exciting thing about it, is Kang the Conqueror. He's a time traveler and an Avengers-level threat that is sure to have Ant-Man with his hands full in this film. I can't say that I'm particularly excited about this one. I never actually saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought Ant-Man was cute, but in terms of characters that really hold my interest, yeah, the Ant guy just isn't it for me. But I would go see this one, and I hope y'all are looking forward to it too, since it's Marvel's first release for the year. Coming out on February 24th, we've got Cocaine Bear. Yeah, you heard me right. Now, this is a dark comedy slash thriller. It's gonna follow a ragtag group of cops, crooks, teenagers, and a bunch of others as they all contend with a cocaine-bound bear. That's right, it's based really loosely on a true story in which a bear gets into a ton of coke and then goes on a rampage. Now, I don't remember this being this exciting in the news, but it seems like the movie is definitely gonna be a handful, and I gotta say, I'm pretty curious about what it's got in store. DC's first big release of 2023 is Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which comes out March 17th, 2023. This film is once again gonna follow teenage Billy Batson as he takes on the role of Shazam and battles with his friends against the villainous Hespera and Calypso. I don't really have that many feelings about this one, and in my opinion, DC Studios is slowly going down the toilet, so I can't really say I'm all that excited about this one. Releasing on March 31st, we've got Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. This film is set to follow a charming thief and a band of adventurers as they set out on an unlikely mission that eventually goes awry. If it's anything like D&D sessions that I've sat in on, it's gonna be an absolute nightmare, and I'm not sure that that's a good thing or a bad thing. However, I am really curious to see how it is that this film brings Dungeons and Dragons into the mainstream and maybe changes it from a nerd in a cave game into something that more people in the mainstream media are interested in playing. On April 7th, 2023, we can look forward to the release of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is gonna follow Mario and Luigi as they set out to save a princess from a castle. I have to admit, I've already made a video on why I don't think that this is gonna be a particularly good movie, and it seemed to piss a lot of people off. I'm not sorry, I'm not excited about this one, but I'm still gonna go see it, which I guess means that they win. Releasing on April 14th, we've got a film that I'm actually really curious about. It's called Renfield, and it stars none other than Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. It's actually about Dracula's henchman named Renfield as he imagines what his life would be without his master. I gotta say, Nicolas Cage is always so delightfully unhinged and a little bit frightening to me on like a very personal level that I really am excited to see what this film entails. I'll definitely be in theaters to watch it, and I'm looking forward to giving it a review. After that, on May 5th, wrapping up the trilogy is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's gonna catch the Guardians after the events of Endgame as Peter Quill contends with his emotions after having lost Gamora. This is supposed to wrap up the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy in a big way. And while I can't say I've been super enthused about Marvel's latest releases, I am really curious to see where it is that the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise sort of goes as it ends. On May 26th, we have another one of Disney's live-action remakes. This one is perhaps the most controversial so far as it set the Twitter warriors ablaze. We've got The Little Mermaid. I can't really say that I'm all that excited about Disney live-action remakes. They've been traditionally not very good. I'm curious to see how it is that Disney is going to transform The Little Mermaid into a live-action tale, and I am, from a visual perspective, really interested in seeing these special effects and how the songs have changed from cartoon to live action. On June 2nd, we've got one of Marvel's most hyped up releases, and that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This one is set to follow Miles Morales and his pal Gwen Stacy as they travel across the Spider-Verse, meet several different spiders. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did an incredible job of reeling in new Spider-Man fans, and it definitely put Miles Morales on a pedestal that he hadn't been on before, and deservingly so. I think he's a really great character, and the animation style for Into the Spider-Verse was super cool, which is really nice to see them continuing to make more films in this style. One of my personal favorites on this list comes out on January 9th, and it is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. It's set in the same continuity as the wildly successful Bumblebee film that came out in 2018, and it of course follows two humans as they get unwittingly swept up into Autobot drama taking place on Earth. I, for one, am super stoked about this one based on the teasers. I actually did a video doing a breakdown of that teaser. If you're interested in watching it, I will link that in the description. Disney's Elemental is in theaters on June 16th. It follows a fire elemental and a water elemental in a world where everyone is a specific element as the two completely different elements start to get together and figure out that they have a lot more in common than they anticipated. For me, the animation for this looks absolutely adorable, and being that I think the box office has been kind of light on kids films lately, I think this is definitely going to be a fan favorite for parents this year. Also releasing on June 16th, if Warner Brothers doesn't decide to can it, is The Flash. It's gonna follow the titular character as he tries to go back in time to stop his mother's death and basically creates a multiverse. Now, if Ezra Miller would decide to stop playing real life like it's Grand Theft Auto, we might actually get to see this one, but based on some promo images that I've seen get released in the past couple of days, well, I'm not sure it's gonna be worth watching. Also from Disney, on June 30th, we've got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. This is the 5th Indiana Jones movie, and it follows a pretty old Indiana Jones. I feel like a hero that can speed through time and create multiverses is just a little bit more believable than the shots I've seen of Harrison Ford at this old age on a horse. But hey, Indiana Jones is a fan favorite, and I'm definitely curious to see what it is that Disney does with Indy moving forward. For horror fans, releasing on July 7th, we have Insidious: Fear the Dark. This is gonna follow Dalton, the kid who's been tortured for the past 3 films, as he moves on to college to start a new life and is obviously revisited by the old demons of his past. As a longtime fan of the Insidious franchise, I'm actually really curious to see where they're taking these films now, especially because I think the horror genre has kind of been lacking the past couple of years, so I'm definitely interested in checking this one out. Releasing on July 21st, 2023 is Oppenheimer. The story follows physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer during the Manhattan Project, which eventually resulted in the creation of the atomic bomb. This film has a star-studded cast and looks like it's gonna be absolutely phenomenal to watch. I can tell you that this one is actually closer to the top of my list purely because of how good it looks. Also releasing on July 21st is one of my guilty pleasures for the year, Barbie, starring Margot Robbie. It's gonna follow a less than perfect version of Barbie as she leaves Barbie Land and enters the human world to find her happiness. And I have to tell you, as pink and obnoxious as this looks, I'm super stoked and I will definitely be there opening night. On our list of summer blockbusters, we've got Marvel's The Marvels, releasing on July 28th. This is gonna follow the story of Carol Danvers, the young Miss Marvel who we saw in her Marvel Disney Plus debut, and Monica Rambeau. The synopsis of the film, as of the time of this recording, is yet to be released. Now, I know that Carol Danvers, especially being portrayed by Brie Larson, isn't exactly a fan favorite. Even worse was the reception to the show Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. I, however, am willing to give this movie the benefit of the doubt purely because I'm a YouTube reviewer and I'm gonna have to watch it anyway, but I can't really say I have super high hopes for this one either. Another superhero release on August 18th is DC's Blue Beetle. It was originally set to be an HBO Max release, but it is finally seeing a theatrical release if Warner Brothers can get their shit together. The story is set to follow a young teenager as he receives mysterious powers from a mysterious scarab. I personally am really interested in seeing if this happens at all, as right now the state of Warner Brothers and DC Studios is kind of up in the air. I'm definitely interested in watching this film if it does in fact stay on the slate for 2023. Releasing on September 1st is The Equalizer 3. It's set to star Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning, two tremendous talents. It's gonna pick up where The Equalizer 2 left off, and I will admit, I'm not a huge action movie kind of person, but I actually really like The Equalizer movies, probably because I'm a huge fan of Denzel Washington, and I'm super stoked to see what they do with this character in the third film. Slated for release on October 6th is yet another Marvel project for 2023, Kraven the Hunter. It's set to star Aaron Taylor Johnson as the titular character, and it's gonna follow the story of Sergei Kravenov as he seeks to become the world's greatest hunter. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is a tremendous actor. I think this is definitely an interesting character from Marvel, and it might see them take on a slightly darker tone for this film, I hope anyway. I'm definitely curious to see what exactly occurs with this film, if it does still release in 2023. For horror fans looking for something with a little more meat to it, releasing on October 13th is The Exorcist. Now, I'm not completely sure if this is a sequel or a reboot to the 1973 film of the same name. However, I can tell you it does have all the talent of Blumhouse behind it. I personally love Blumhouse films, so I have a ton of faith that this Exorcist is going to be absolutely phenomenal, and it's definitely going to be a fitting release for October. Last on this list of movies releasing in 2023 is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's set to follow Aquaman as he makes uneasy alliances in order to defend his city. I can only assume that the villain in this film is in fact Amber Heard, because I can't imagine anybody painting her as a love interest or a hero anymore after, well, the events of 2022. If Warner Brothers does go through with this film, I'm definitely interested to see if they leave her in or what they do with her. Being that I thought the first Aquaman movie was a snore fest, I'm willing to take the heat for that. I guess we'll see what exactly happens with this one moving forward. That's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know which of these films is on your must-watch list in the comments below.